All right, what's up, y'all? I wanted to make another video about the Asbury revival. And before you continue, I want you to do me a huge favor. Like this video, subscribe to my channel, and comment down below if you've been or if you haven't been to the revival. And if you have been, comment down below your favorite part of the revival. So, how I got to Asbury. It was a Saturday morning, and I was on my way to the beach for sunrise. And one of my friends told me, hey, have you heard of this revival going on at the University of Asbury, or Asbury University? To which I replied, I had no idea. And so my friend was telling me about this, and I didn't really think much of it. I just kind of like, oh, that's great that they've been praying a lot and worshiping a lot. That's cool. But when I got home, one of my friends had posted on their Instagram about the revival. And I watched the video. It was a short 10-second clip. And I could feel the presence of God simply by just watching that video. And I started weeping. And then I watched the video a second time, and I started weeping again. Then a third time, and weeping again. Then a fourth time, and this continued about 5 or 6 times. Then I called my mom, and I told her, I said, have you heard about this revival? And she said no. So I sent her the video. She watched the video, and she started weeping. And it was just so beautiful to see how hungry people are for the Lord. And I'll make another video about this some other time. But it's a lie when people and the devil try to trick you that this world is evil and that there's just all evilness going on. Now, is there evil going on in this world? Yes. But is God moving more powerfully than the devil? Yes, yes, yes. I've said this in my videos previously, but whatever the devil's doing in the world, God is always doing something greater. You know, whatever the devil tries to do, God is always up to something greater. Hallelujah. So, anyway, as I was just encountered by the presence of God, I knew that I just had to go to this revival. So I took a shower, packed up my clothes, and I called a bunch of friends to see if they wanted to go. Unfortunately, no one was able to go, so I just drove myself. And so within about an hour and a half of me deciding to go, I just started driving. And so I arrived there, and 30 minutes actually before I arrived, I already was experiencing the presence of God. And I just was weeping again, just being so touched. And when I arrived there, I went up to the front in the chairs, and I was just getting mega touched by God's presence. So I went to the altar and I started weeping again. And the glory of God was just so beautiful. The presence was so strong. And so, it was absolutely incredible. Oh, and actually, one thing I didn't mention earlier, but I told the Lord, I said, Lord, if I'm going to go to this, I ask you for provision, and I thank you for provision to have a place to stay and food covered, whether, it was someone blessing me with the finances or a family, blessing me to stay at their house. And the very first couple I spoke with said, would you like to stay at our home? So I got blessed to stay at their home for the 4 or 5 days that I was there, and they fed me breakfast, lunch, and dinner the time I was there, and it was amazing. And so that was my experience with going there. And the revival was incredible. It wasn't your typical, Pentecostal, charismatic, jumping up and down, loud preaching revival. It was just simply people who were hungry for the presence of the Lord. People were repenting for, backsliding. People were repenting for whatever, addictions. People were getting free from those things. People were getting healed. People were getting delivered. People were getting touched by the Lord. People were having encounters with God. People were having a lot of forgiveness for, we heard a lot of testimonies there of people, I heard a lot of testimonies of people who they were in a bad friendship where they had a lot of hurt, and they ended up reconciling with this person at Asbury. They just somehow bumped into each other and they reconciled. And so, although it wasn't your typical Pentecostal, charismatic, loud preaching, shouting revival, God is still on the move, and people are still hungry for God, and it was still amazing. So that was my experience in a few words and how I got there. I'm going to share a couple other stories of some things that people shared, and I also want to say too, being there, I definitely saw some big name preachers, but they were just there to experience God as well. And so the real focus was just on the presence of God. But some people shared some testimonies with me, and they're all anonymous, and so they gave me permission to share. So I'll read the first one here. It says, there was a woman who talked to a lady who was, actually, I read this wrong. So there was a woman standing on a wall, and some younger girl came up to this other girl, and they started having a conversation, and she just felt drawn to come and talk to this person. So this person on the wall said to the other girl who came up to her, she said, hey, why did you come to the revival? And she responded and wasn't sure why, but she knew there was something great that she had to come for. And so this older woman and a young girl, two completely different people, came up to this younger girl and said, hey, I'm sorry for interrupting you, but can you pray for me? My daughter, or whoever this person was, said, hey, my daughter has this rare disease. And the woman who prayed for them is a doctor who specifically treats that disease. But here's the thing. Before she treated the daughter, she prayed for the daughter and testified that the daughter felt so much better. She didn't specifically say whether they got healed. She just said that she was experiencing a ton of stomach pain and it all went away. And this was in, within a couple hours or so, or maybe not a couple hours, maybe it was the next day. But anyway, the daughter had testified that she had the stomach pain completely went away. Another story, there was this young man who came down from Michigan, and he was at ministry school, and in his ministry school they were learning about revival, the Great Awakening, the Brownsville revival, those kinds of things. And he was praying and asking God, why are we not seeing this today? And so he asked his teacher, and they said, you just got to get in a room and just pray and ask the Lord to send revival. And then they heard about this revival 6 hours away from them in Michigan, to Kentucky, because they're from Michigan. And he said to his friends, we have to get there. So they got to the revival, and it was like early in the morning, because this is, revival is going 24/7, and it was really quiet, just peaceful worship music. And he looked around and thought, what the heck? This is revival? This is what we came here for? Kind of in a way like, this is not what I was expecting. So the Lord showed him, hey, go to the front, to the altar, and pray. And then when he was there, the Lord showed him, look to the left, look to the right, look in front of you, look behind you. And as he did this, he saw, a young woman praying for an older woman, an older man praying for a younger man, people on their knees worshiping, people repenting, people getting saved, people getting healed. And he said, this is what revival looks like. People just experiencing God's presence. And when you experience his presence, you get healed, you get saved, you get delivered, you get free, you get blessed. So that was a really cool testimony that I heard. And the last one here, I spoke with this guy, and he said that he rededicated his life to the Lord, and he was living a double life full of regret and hurtfulness, and he has never been a person to go to the altar, but he really felt God's presence strongly, and he really felt the Lord push him to, hey, come to the altar, and he rededicated his life to the Lord. So those are a few of the testimonies that I heard about Asbury Revival. I'll probably be making another video at some point soon about this, just because it's still going on, there's still some awesome stuff, and things are even growing in other places. But I want you to do me a huge favor, like I said earlier, like the video, comment down below your favorite part of the revival, and if you haven't been, comment if you're going or not, and if you're not going, then comment down below anyway, and subscribe to the channel. I post a lot of great content on all things Bible, faith, healing, freedom from sin, and I love to preach. I do a lot of good shorts as well, and so you'll really love it, you'll enjoy it. So God bless y'all, have a great day, and remember, when you seek the Lord, he will heal you, he will deliver you, he'll give you joy. Hallelujah. God is for you, and if he is for you, who can be against you? Romans 8:31. And Psalm 16:11 says, in his presence is fullness of joy, and at his right hand are pleasures forevermore. So simply by being in his presence, you have fullness of joy and pleasures forevermore. I want to encourage you with that today. Like, comment, and subscribe. God bless y'all.